Hello and welcome to ThePrint live today. Today at the live session we are asking the question, with more students committing suicide, should India address mental health in school curricula? So first let me begin by telling our viewers why we are taking up the issue today. This morning we've written an article which says that in the last 5 years, from 2014 to 2018, more than 400 students in Delhi have committed suicide. According to a petition filed in the Supreme Court based on an RTI response, 443 students, persons below the age of 18 years, have committed suicide. Although the reasons are not specified, but various surveys and the specialists that we've spoken to say that reasons for most of the young people committing suicide is relationship issues and stress in exams and competitive pressure. Now, this is just the tip of an iceberg, because suicides among young people in India and globally is a huge problem, especially in India. So let me quote a study. This is a study which was quoted in the Lancet journal from Global Burden of Diseases, which says that the percentage of people committing suicide in India, which contributes to the global percentage, has increased from 44% in 1990 to 60.9% in the year 2016. It's a huge jump. In the year 1990, where 44% of the population which committed suicide was from India, in 2016 this population has gone way ahead, and in fact more than half the people who are committing suicide are from India. And a significant point here is that among the people who are committing suicide, the 60.9%, most of the people are in the age group of 15 to 39 years of age, which is the young population in India. Now, this shows that there is some kind of problem when it comes to addressing the mental health issues in India. First of all, mental health issues are not taught in the school curricula, which is where the whole problem begins, and which is why we are asking this question today, whether mental health should be a part of the school curricula. So we have a question from Anirban Chakrabarti. Anirban asks, life skill is the need of the hour for young people to adapt to changes. How can we integrate that in every school, just like happiness curriculum? So the happiness curriculum that Anirban is talking about in his question is something that the Delhi government started last year, where they teach primarily teach students to be happy by imparting them with life skills. Now the life skills that we're talking about is making them gender sensitized, encouraging students to deal with to talk to their peers, to learn how to talk to the opposite sex, to deal with bullying, managing aggression, improving emotional intelligence. So these are some of the things that can be imparted to students as part of life skills when it comes to addressing mental health issues. And Delhi government is also doing something similar. In fact, they completed 1 year of the happiness curricula last month, and which is where they also had an event to mark the 1 year. Now Adesh is saying yoga and meditation needs to be a part of the curriculum. So yoga has been made a part of the curriculum, not directly a part of the mental health curriculum, but yes, the current government, especially the Modi government, ever since they came to power in 2014 and even in the consecutive term, they are paying a lot of attention to yoga. CBSE in fact has in a way made it mandatory for schools to hold yoga classes and meditation classes, but but there's no study as such to show how much it helps in improving mental health of students. Also some students do attend the classes, some students skip it since it's not them giving any marks, because most of the school curriculum these days is based on marking systems. So students who do want to attend it, they do; those who don't, they skip the classes. So So that's how the current scenario is. Now Apurva asks, is it necessary for schools to have mental health counselors? So yes Apurva, it is in fact necessary for schools to have mental health counselors, especially for the teenage students from 14 to 16 years of age, 16, 17 years of age. But it's only some schools are actually going and appointing these counselors. Especially private schools have these counselors. In government schools, most of the counselors are just there to fill a vacancy or for a namesake. So some of the private schools do have qualified counselors, and there have been instances in the past where students have had bad behavioral issues and they've gone to the counselors, and their parents have said that they actually feel that it was a good thing that the schools had counselors. Now Anisha asks, given the impact of social media on today's generation, do you think it is all the more essential for mental health curriculum to be included? After happiness and entrepreneurship curriculum, do you think the AAP government should considering introducing this curriculum? Yes, of course, Anisha. Anisha is talking about the ill effects of social media on young kids. So yes, it does. Social media does have a negative impact on students because it puts up a lot of pressure on them to maybe show themselves better on social media as compared to their peers. They post selfies, go on vacation, and the kind of peer pressure that adults face, these students also have similar kind of things going on, and there have been studies to prove that students do fall prey to the social media pressure. So yes, the experts also say that including information about social media and how to limit the usage of social media can be a part of the school curriculum once it is actually formalized. But right now we do not have any formal setup of a mental health curriculum in schools. So another viewer asks, how big are issues of mental health or depression among school children, and what are the factors responsible for it? So of course, depression is a big factor among school children. In fact, many studies say that depression in fact begins among young children at the age of 14 itself, and we do not have in all schools or all facilities, we do not have the proper means of dealing with them. Also, the fact that depression is not dealt with seriously either in schools or by the families, because unlike any other ailment or unlike any other condition, this is not something that people can immediately notice or see or say that, oh, this person is depressed, so this person needs some kind of counseling. It's only the person who is depressed or who is feeling depressed needs to go to a counselor or teacher or say that I need some kind of help. For that there needs to the stigma attached with depression and mental health issues also needs to be taken away, and for that we need a lot of awareness. We have another question. We have a lot more viewers in fact asking about restricting the use of technology. Karthik from Mysore asks, would restricting students from using technology frequently help improve their mental health? Well, as I said earlier also, there have been studies that show that social media have a negative impact on the health of students. So yes, limiting the screen time and giving students a chance to read more and engage more with outdoor activities will in fact actually improve their mental health. This is something that the experts also say. Kiran asks, will this be limited to certain states or boards? So Kiran, right now we don't even have any uniform curriculum or syllabus for mental health. But if at all there is something like that, it will be a central government specific scheme which will have to be followed by all the states, because state is an education subject and whatever is directed from the center needs to be followed up by the state. Will interaction, now Mridula asks us, another viewer, she asks us, will interaction and counseling with parents be included in this? So let's be clear, right now what we are talking about is, should there be a curriculum? We are addressing the question on whether whether mental health care should be included in the curriculum, and that is what we are trying to explore here. We are not telling our viewers that this has been included. So will interaction and counseling with parents be included in this? So yes, this is what the experts have to say. In fact, we spoke to the Fortis Mental Health Care helpline, which is in Delhi, which is run by Dr. Sameer Parekh. So the people who work at the helpline tell us that when young people call them for any kind of help, the first thing that they tell them is to speak to the nearest person. If they are at home, speak to their parents. If they are in a hostel, speak to their roommate. If they're calling from the school or college, speak to their teachers, professors, because that's what helps the most. Speaking to a person who's close to them. So yes, if at all there is a uniform mental health curricula which is given out by the government, counseling with parents could be a part of it, and it will in fact be beneficial for the students. Another viewer asks us, should a legal provision be put in place to make sure schools have a counselor attached? See, now if we attach everything to legality, I mean the schools and the organizations are supposed to follow it, but right now also it is mandatory to have a legal counselor, but a mental health counselor, but how many, and schools do have it. Let me remind the viewers, schools do have mental health counselors, but a lot of schools just have them for the namesake. How many of them are actually helping the students in dealing with mental health issues is a question. Now Achintya Chatterjee asks us why there is a huge gap between the education that is provided in outskirts of India, then metro cities, and how to curb. Although this is not related to the topic that we are talking about, but I will take the question. So Achintya, it all depends upon the budget and it all depends upon the kind of implementation of schemes. So central government is only supposed to direct the states on following a certain scheme, but how the implementation actually happens on the ground depends only upon the states. And once the funds from center to state comes, there is a lot of there is a lot of cut down there in between, and so which is why when you say that the metropolitan cities, the schools, the education system is better, this is why this happens. Another viewer asks us, won't introducing mental health in the curriculum increase academic burden of students? So I would like to clarify here that if the mental health curriculum is introduced, it's not going to be something like an extra reading or something, or a voluminous book that students read. The whole idea is to introduce students to life skills, make them more aware about the mental health issues, introducing to them to the various mental ailments that do exist, something like a depression or something as serious as a schizophrenia, and issues like these. So I mean, definitely it's going to be an additional part of study, but it won't be in a curricula in a heavy book format, which like the happiness curriculum which Delhi government has. It's not like students are reading heavy books, or it's more of a life skill based thing that the government is trying to teach them. And as per their own admission, the students, I mean, we have not been able to verify it independently, but as per their own admission, it is working out really well for them. The students are more happy and relaxed, and their parents also give them a good feedback about the whole curriculum. Another question that we have is, will dealing with ragging be included in this curriculum? So, of course, like I said earlier, dealing with bullying, trying to interact with your peers is something that that can be and will be a part of the curriculum when there is something like a mental health curriculum. So that's all for today. Thanks for watching this live. Do log into the print.in website to read our exclusive report on the suicides happening in Delhi. Thank you so much.